Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is our final chat session. I'll be covering modules 7 through modules 10. In module 7, you will review the various types of evaluation methodologies used in planning of environmental health programs. There is going to be a continuation of the journal that you started in the evaluation worksheet that you started in module 6. For this assignment, you continue that, and the focus of this will be on the methods used to evaluate policy, program, projects, and interventions selected during module 6. So you're not changing anything different other than you're just basically continuing the module in terms of the public health topic that you picked. You're going to be essentially completing part 4. You've already completed parts 1, 2, 3. Be sure to read the type of evaluations provided in the resource section of the classroom. Also, make sure you take a look at the guidelines and rubric, and then there's some additional reading resources. So let's go ahead and discuss a sample, and this should pretty much look like it's the same worksheets, but obviously the second half of that worksheet. So this is 6 and 7 combined, part 1, as we can see. So let me scroll down. You should have, and then part 2, I think I went a little bit too far. Part 4, sorry, right here. This is where your module 7 begins. So you're looking at process evaluation, outcome evaluation, etc. So you complete that. Make sure you use in-text citations as needed, and then obviously references. So module 8, the focus is on the concept of environmental justice, and it's focused on fair treatment and meaningful involvement of the vulnerable population. There's a discussion board, and this discussion board, you're going to be looking at the CDC's diarrhea common illness webpage, and then you're going to respond to the following. You're going to look at globalization and disease burdens, about 100 words. Summarize your chosen article by explaining the aspects of the scenario that relate to globalization. Explain how this type of globalization affects public health, specifically the global burdens of disease. And then in about 200 words, you're going to be looking at health equity. Imagine yourself as a public health leader involved with the scenario of the article you selected. How would you foster international collaborations to improve health equity? Identify stakeholders for the coalition. Who are the stakeholders? And then talk about strategies for community coalition building. Don't forget to make 2 peer responses to get full credit. And here's an example of your discussion board. So for module 9, module 9 and 10 are pretty easy, especially module 10. Or I should say module 10 is pretty easy, but module 9, you're going to be doing a cumulative submission of your milestones. So you had milestone 1, which was in module 3, milestone 2, module 5, milestone 3, module 7, and then milestone, final milestone or milestone 4, however you want to call it, in module 9. You complete the final research analysis of your project. You should also incorporate feedback from prior milestones and ensure you have recommended the most appropriate strategies for managing the environmental health hazards that you've been investigating. So for this end project, you identify the environmental chemical hazard that impacts community's health. You analyze the hazard's impact on human health and recommend intervention strategies. So let's go ahead and take a look at a template sample. And you guys should already have completed the first and second milestones. So I'll just take a look at milestone 3 and the final milestone. This is what you're supposed to be completing this week for Module 5. So milestone 3 is going to be in Module 7. Comparison of strategy effectiveness. You're looking at 2 different strategies, national and international levels, in handling the public health issue that you identified. You're going to be doing a needs capacity matrix, where you're going to be listing different strategies and the needs and the capacities. There's an assets map that you have to also include. And again, this stuff is also described in the guidelines and rubrics. I'm just going over it with you here. And then for your final project, this is going to be Module 9. It says 2.0 final project. This is what I was talking about in terms of intervention strategies regarding health equity, regarding coalition building, risk management and communication approaches. You're going to do a PESLI analysis, which you guys have already done in previous assignments. So it's pretty simple. Again, it's just a continuation of the other milestones. So that's why it's called a final project. It's very comprehensive and it involves a lot of information. So for Module 10, there is going to be I like to call it a catch-all journal, where in this journal, you're just basically going to be talking about your thoughts and what you've learned during the course. You'll also reflect on strategies to mitigate health hazards. So this is just a summary, like, hey, I like this section about the course. I like talking about specific chemical hazards in the journal, the first journal. I like doing the milestones in Module 3 or whatever the case may be. I like filling out the hazard assessment on toxicodynamics and toxicokinetics in Module 4 or 5. Whatever the case may be, you can state that in your journal. 1 page is fine. 3/4 of a page is also fine. So just try to make it a little bit detailed and share your thoughts on the class. And what was the most memorable? Which one had the most impact on you? That concludes this session. I'm going to go ahead and post this in the announcements. It was my pleasure being your instructor, and I look forward for the remaining weeks that we have left for this course. Have a good Sunday.